Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about two very important methods of paying down your debt. Number one is going to be the Snowball method. Number two is going to be the Avalanche method. And I'm also going to talk about another method that can essentially allow you to pay down your debt much faster, which of course is going to be the consolidation. If you're new to the channel, guys, and you need anything financially, please let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so we can stay up to date. Every day we're going to be coming at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a brand new video, and it is going to be kind of a cumulative process, meaning that we started with the very basics of the needs and the wants. We went through kind of building out a budget, what it looks like, and we're going to continue down this path, guys, for the next couple years, really setting the scene and getting you financially sound. Now, the first method we're going to talk about is the Snowball method. Simply put, it is paying off your debts from the smallest to the largest. Now, why is this really important? It plays kind of into the psychological effect that this can have, meaning that if you have 5 debts, you have one that's a couple $100, it is going to be incredibly easy to pay off the debt for that couple $100, and then be able to take the payment that you're making on that very first debt or the smallest debt that you had, rolling up all of the extra money that you're putting onto that debt into the next one, and so on and so forth. Just like building a giant snowball, guys, it starts out with your very smallest debt, and then it gets larger and larger. Now, one thing to note is when you're doing the Snowball method. So again, hypothetically, we're going to be using 5 debts. So if you do have 5 different debts in there, is you are going to pay it off again from the smallest to the largest. But during this process, so during the Snowball method process, you are going to make the minimum payments on the 4 larger snowballs, again, in this example, and every extra penny you have is going to go to that very, very first smallest debt. Now, with all that being said, that also means that you have $1,000, just like we set with the milestones. You have $1,000 in a savings account, which is set aside. Because essentially what is going to happen is if you didn't do the milestone, if you did not do step 1 of saving that $1,000 in a savings account, the moment that something happens, it's going to go right back to using one of these snowballs, which can accumulate and make it actually bigger and bigger, the amount that you're going to have to pay out. And with that comes interest. Now, that's really the biggest thing, guys, that I really want to focus on is if you're carrying a card with, let's say, a $10,000 balance, depending on the percentage rate, you're going to be paying a couple $100 in interest, which can be super, super expensive over the long term, which is the reason why we want to pay this down and actually eliminate it as fast as possible after you have that first milestone completely hit. Now, the second one we're going to talk about is the Avalanche method, guys. Now, this does use a different methodology than we see with the Snowball method. So what this one does, it essentially saves you more money, but a lot of people can get very discouraged very fast with the Avalanche method. So what it does, again, using the same exact 5 debts that we have, you rank them from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. With this, every penny you have goes to the very highest interest rate, trying to get down that, trying to get effectively saving you money and getting that interest rate lower because you're putting every extra penny you have to that very, very high rate. Now, again, a lot of people, if it is a higher rate, it's going to take a little bit more time to pay off, meaning that you have to be disciplined and you really have to hold yourself accountable to paying that off and every extra penny that you have. If you really want to get out of debt free, guys, it is entirely up to you. The more that you honestly put into this, whether it is, saving money, cutting out some of the wants that we have, lowering the cost of the needs that you have, and actually getting the debt managed. And of course, remembering that we have $1,000 of the emergency fund in our savings account, and that is earmarked for emergencies, guys. That is not for wants that happen to come out every now and then. It is earmarked completely for emergencies. Like I said, with the second method, the Avalanche method, it does pay off the highest interest debt first, putting more money towards that. And then once you do pay off the highest, let's say it is number 5 on your list, which is the highest interest rate. Once that is paid off, every single penny then goes to number 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, so on and so forth until you pay it all off. Which again, one of the pitfalls for this method, guys, is you can get stuck into, if you have a card with, let's say, $5,000, $10,000 on it, and it is a high interest rate card, you're going to be paying on it for a long time unless you're making one, either a lot of sacrifices to put more money to it, two, making more money, or you use the third method that I'm going to kind of talk about, which is the refinance option. So in my career and going through multiple years, debt consolidation is always a good way to do it. But again, it goes back to a lot of discipline. For a majority of Americans, we see do a debt consolidation. Everything is down to an affordable payment over a set term, which I love, guys. Having a set term, set rate, especially with this rate environment we're in right now, makes a huge impact on what you're going to. Now, with the affordable payment, making sure that it is more than honestly what you're paying to your minimum payments on your cards. To really get this down, guys, we don't want credit card debt. We don't want unsecured loan debt. We don't want debt in general, but it lingering around for 3, 5, 7, 10 years can be very detrimental on things that you want to do in life and things you want to enjoy in life, which is the reason why I started this channel, really talking about the different methodology behind it, the psychology behind it. And also I hope that it helps somebody out there, guys. A lot of people do watch a lot of these videos, quality financial advice, figuring it out. I don't get into the stocks and bonds, the cryptocurrency trading, stuff of that nature, just a general education aspect in here. Like I was saying though, is if you look at debt consolidation, you have to be kind of cautious of what you use, whether it is using a home, whether it is doing like a cash out refinance, or just going to a straight unsecured loan. Chances are you can get the debt consolidated to an incredibly low rate. Some places have unsecured rates at 6%, 7%, 8%, even up to 10% is still a pretty decent rate. When you look at the average from credit cards is about 18 to 26%, which again, if you have $10,000 over on one avenue of a 26% rate, moving that same $10,000 over to a 10% rate will allow either method, the Snowball method or the Avalanche method, will really make an impact on what you're paying off in just straight debt. In interest payments alone is astronomical when you start getting higher balances on there. It does really have an impact, which is the reason why we do the consolidation, which again, you have to be very disciplined about it. You have to be very accountable for it, because when you are doing the consolidation, it doesn't mean, okay, all the cards are now free of their debt, they have no balances, it's time to use them again. No, that is the time to get rid of them. That is the time to quit using them, because we have our savings account. If an emergency comes up, they are not meant to supplement your income, which is what a lot of people do utilize them for. Credit cards are good in the sense that if you are not carrying a balance and if you are not paying interest on them, they are a device, they are a method. If you need to get a hotel, if you need to rent a car, there are benefits to them. But if you are not managing the debt well, they are very detrimental to the long-term wealth that you can create. All right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. I hope it was educational. Again, looking at the Snowball method, the Avalanche method, and of course, the debt consolidation is always a priority of mine, because it puts people into a better financial situation, which again is exactly what I'm hoping to do. So guys, again, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.